Federal Government Bank of Industry to disburse 75 billion naira loans at 9% interest rate to MSMEs in January 2024. Federal government to empower Chibok community with farm tools worth 210 million naira. Oil prices edge up as traders eye Red Sea developments. Japan stocks extend rise on dovish Bank of Japan. China leaves benchmark lending rates unchanged. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I'm Musa Abubakar, your guide. Now let's bring you up to speed with business development. The federal government, in collaboration with the Bank of Industry, has concluded plans to commence the disbursement of 75 billion naira to micro, small and medium enterprises across the country by January 2024. A statement signed by the senior special assistant to the president of MSMEs on job creation, the Vice President Temitola Adekunle Johnson in Abuja says the beneficiaries will enjoy a single-digit interest rate of 9% on loans, adding that the loan initiative was targeted mostly at women and youths. He noted that the move was part of an effort in keeping to President Bola Tinubu's promise to support the transformation of the MSME space in the country. The trade balance between Nigeria and China increased to 7.54 trillion naira in the first 9 months of 2023, according to an analysis of data from the National Bureau of Statistics. The bilateral trade deficit in favor of China is widening, with a steady increase in Nigeria's imports from the Asian country in the past 1 year. An analysis of the foreign trade statistics released by the Bureau showed that Nigeria imported 8.4 trillion naira worth of goods from China in 9 months between January and September 2023. Further details of the MBS data for the 9 months 2023 showed that exports from Nigeria to China was valued at 126.61 billion naira in first quarter, 251.8 billion naira in second quarter, and 482.4 billion naira in third quarter, making a total of 860.82 billion naira and indicating huge deficits during the period. Nigeria's main exports to China include minerals, metals, agricultural products, as well as crude oil. The president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has warned that the introduction of a carbon border tax by the European Union could push Africa back into exporting raw commodities and undermine its industrialization gains. The European Union recently launched the initial phase of a Europe-wide carbon tax on imported goods as part of its climate change reduction measures. Adesina said this could penalize African countries. He described natural gas as an essential resource for Africa that should not be restricted in foreign trade. The Nigeria Data Protection Commission has reiterated its commitment to engage in robust human capacity building of ministries, departments and agencies to create a pool of globally competitive data protection professionals in Nigeria in line with the digital transformation drive of the federal government. Alajide Bello reports that National Commissioner of the Commission, Vincent Olatunji, disclosed this at the launch of the Nigeria Data Protection Strategic Roadmap Action Plan and Data Privacy and Protection Capacity Building Workshop in Abuja.
Agenda. The data subsector, according to the Commission, has vistas of opportunities for Nigeria and Nigerians.
This is one of such areas, the digital economy sector, where new jobs have been created. And we are aware of the current agenda, the renewal agenda of Mr. President, where he intends to create about 2 million jobs for the digital economy sector. So in this subsector alone, 500,000 jobs are guaranteed. And that is why we have taken human capital development as a major pillar. And we are giving serious attention in the Commission to ensure that we build capacity in the public sector.
To commend all the members as well as the chairman of the Nigeria Data Protection Strategic Roadmap and Action Plan Committee for their tireless and diligent work to produce the documents that we are here to launch today.
Top on the discourse was overview of the Nigeria Data Protection Act, lawful basis of data processing, cross-border transfer, obligations of data controllers and processors, and development of sectoral guidelines.
Now to our discussion segment. On June 12, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the Nigeria Data Protection Bill into law, setting the historic course for a new data-protected Nigeria. As a matter of fact, the bill was among the very first bills assented by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on assumption of office. This is no doubt a demonstration of Nigeria's commitment to safeguarding digital privacy and building trust with global partners and stakeholders. The newly assented Data Protection Act 2023 provides a legal framework for the protection of personal information, safeguarding people's basic rights and freedoms, while supporting the establishment of the Nigeria Data Protection Commission for the regulation of processing of personal information data. Hence, the law doesn't only address privacy concerns, but also sets stage for responsible data usage, fostering secure, trustworthy, and progressive digital economic environment. To speak on issues around data protection legislation and future of digital economy is cybersecurity expert and executive director, HTC Academy, Hanil Hamisu Jafaru. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's begin the discussion by somehow giving us a picture of Nigeria's data protection landscape and how it has evolved over time.
Okay, well, it all started from the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation that was launched by NITDA, and from there, it started as a policy. From there, it was implemented by NITSA. From there, it became a commission, and as we see, the assent to the bill in the middle of the year made it possible for us to have all-inclusiveness as long as data protection is concerned. The country is experiencing huge confidence, and that's the whole essence of data protection, to grow the confidence of people that have data residents in the hands of data custodians.
Okay, if you observe recently, I think it happened to me, and I believe it happened to a lot of individuals out there. Sometimes you just be there and you receive message about a particular loan and things like that. With the sentiment of the president on data protection, how would you assess this actually playing out, as in terms of punishing those people who will have now access to your data and now give it out there?
Okay, well, as long as the loan access to data for loan companies and loan sharks are concerned, or online loan and digital money lenders are concerned, there's already a committee that has been set up by the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. The Nigerian Data Protection Commission is part of that committee. The FCCC is also part of that committee. The CBN is also part of that committee. And the aim is to ensure that data of citizens that resides within these digital money lenders are properly kept, because the Data Protection Regulatory Commission and the Act in itself gives rights to citizens or owners of data, and one of those rights is the right for data to be deleted. So you can actually make a request to data custodians to delete your data.
Now, who do I talk to? Do I talk to the particular loan shark? Because most of the times you don't see them. You just, you get a message, and to trace them becomes something else.
Now, yeah, if you find out that your data is in the hands of those that your data is not supposed to be in the hands of, you report to the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. They are saddled with that responsibility of ensuring that they trace your data and they protect your data. So if you're concerned that you didn't give your data to a particular company or a particular money lender, and you're receiving text messages as it is, or as most persons probably may have been receiving, the Nigerian Data Protection Commission is saddled with that responsibility of protecting your data. And as long as the data is within the confines and the sovereign of Nigeria, they have the right to query and also get those digital money lenders. In fact, from my last discussion with the Commission and the National Commissioner in person of Dr. Olatunji, Vincent Olatunji, I think over 123 digital money lenders have been delisted who are not aligning with the data protection regulations.
And there are banks that are culprit to this. I think I've read the reports like that. There are some banks that are have been divulging private information that they are not supposed to. How do we hold them responsible?
It's completely against the Nigerian, the NDPR. It's completely against it. Reporting to NDPC is the right thing, and is the best step we can take at this point, because as a person, you can't approach the bank and say, okay, my data is being. You would need proof to show the bank that your data is it is the bank that is actually sending your data out. So, but Nigerian Data Protection Commission has the tools, they have the methodology, they have the techniques, they know how to trace this thing, they know how to get this thing set up, they know how to ensure that truly it is the bank, and they can ascertain this. Once they ascertain this, there is the possibility of fine. They can fine if the bank is not in compliance with the regulation, as long as including your transaction data. It's not just even your personal information. Transaction details, your personally, any information that can be used to identify you. Because research has shown that with your surname and your date of birth, you can be traced and you can be tracked. So with that, information like that, anyone that lay holds of those kind of information is supposed to, as long as the person is, the organization is running under the CAMA, that's the Companies Allied Matters Act, 2020, the one that was recently signed, they are mandated by law to protect your data. And if they don't align with the complaint, they don't comply with that, they can be fined, they can be banned. There are a whole lot of actions that can be meted upon such organizations. So as a person, if you find out that you're getting text messages from firms you did not register with, or you're getting information from companies you don't have any form of alliance with, you report to NDPC and they take it up from there. All you just need to do is to carry out a follow-up.
Okay, maybe you can tell us the importance of data protection for individuals and businesses in the Nigerian context.
Okay, now, data protection generally, the aim of data protection is to ensure that confidence is built within the masses. The masses needs to understand that, okay, yeah, my data is resident with this company. There is the guarantee that the company will not use my data for something else, because all data must be objective. The data must be used specifically. So when they are even collating your data, when they are collecting your data from you, they specify what they would be using the data to do, mostly in the terms of use or acceptable use policy generally. So if it contradicts what they originally tells you that they want to use the data for, then it means that they've contradicted the Nigerian data protection regulation. So the aim of the data protection is to build confidence in the masses. And once confidence is built digitally, it's going to increase digital transaction, and that's where the digital economy comes in. It's going to increase digital transaction, and that would mean that people will be confident enough to engage in digital transaction. There are a whole lot of persons who really don't engage in online shopping because they to a large extent, they don't trust the data protection system that we have. But notwithstanding, that is what the data protection system or the data protection regulation is supposed to do. It's supposed to build confidence in users to the end that it increased digital transaction. Now, once digital transaction is increased, it would mean that it would now grow the digital economy, because digital economy largely leverage on the confidence that the users have on startups and digital startups. So once that confidence has been built and transaction is increased, it would not mean that we'll get a whole lot of innovations in line with that. And getting innovations would mean it's going to attract foreign direct investment, because it would mean companies, investors would have the confidence that citizens are confident in using making digital transactions, and that is driven by as a result of them having to trust the data protection regulation that governs the country.
Now, how are business adapting to comply with data protection laws, and what challenges do they face?
Okay, as long as for business, the major challenge that business face is the inability for them to align with the original intent of the data that they have probably made mention of. For example, I am collecting your data specifically for this purpose. I'm supposed to tell you that I'm collecting your data for this purpose. Now, there is an opportunity that comes where I can still use your data for something else. Most business would not. There is the right to notification, which means that when you want to use my data for something else, I am expected to be notified that you would use my data for that thing. So if business don't align with the regulation, it becomes difficult. And most business, largely for advanced countries, we've seen business that have to go into extinction because they fail to align with this regulation. Nigeria is not the only country that have this data protection regulation. We have the GDPR, which is the EU version. We have the California version. US as a country does not have that unified data protection regulation.
Okay, let's do a comparative analysis. How does Nigeria compare to global standards in terms of data protection practices?
Well, we just started ours. GDPR has been there since I think 2017 thereabout, if I'm not mistaken. But we just started ours, and so far so good. The Commission is doing. The good thing is that we now have a commission. There are countries that don't even have a commission in line with this. There are countries that don't have that commission. We have a commission as an agency that is saddled with the responsibility of protecting our data. So that can be a pass mark for us. But beyond that, there are a whole lot of battles that are happening as long as data protection is concerned that most of us are not even aware of. The Nigerian Data Protection Commission is fighting seriously to ensure that our data are protected. And because I'm prior to having some information that aligns with this. Most persons who understand the whole, well, I may not want to start calling names, but there are a lot of companies and firms who probably would...
Okay, I understand. We have a commission.
Yeah.
That now let's talk about getting those responsible for taking your own data and giving it out there. How do we hold them accountable? Because there should be punishment. They should serve as, they should be punished and serve as a deterrent for others. How do we hold them accountable?
Okay, so now, like I said earlier, the rights organization that is saddled with, by law, saddled with the responsibility of holding firms who are misusing or abusing data accountable is the NDPC. So, as it stands, what you can do as someone whose data has been abused is to report with NDPC. And now, if they don't act based on the information you've given to them, that's when it becomes an issue. But most persons don't even know that the NDPC exists. They don't even know what to do. So now this is like an information I'm passing out.
That means the commission is not doing enough to sensitize people.
They are doing a lot to sensitize people. But again, there is little. Let me use the word that. The way they're doing their sensitization cannot be compared to the way CBN, for example, will do theirs, because definitely all agencies will cry for money, funds to be able to carry out this thing. But with the little fund that they've been given, I believe they are doing a lot, and I can attest to that. There are DPOs, there are data protection organizations, which are private entities that private organizations engage DPOs to ensure that they comply with these things. So it's more of like, it's a system. It's a complete system.
Now, how do we get the people, how do we get to protect people at the grassroots? Because we're not, those people live in the urban areas, they are not the only ones that they are victims of this. What about people at the grassroots that they don't really know much about how these things work?
Okay, now, we're talking about a digital market. And because we're talking about the digital space, whether you are at the grassroots or you are at the urban area, those living at the grassroots and the urban area, they all connect at the digital space. So what we're concerned about, or what the NDPC is concerned about, is protecting data as long as the data reside within the digital space. And it really doesn't matter where you are, whether you are the urban area or the rural area, as long as you have that data within the digital space, all organizations that is in custody of that data, they are mandated by law to protect it. So if somebody, for example, in the urban area reports, he may be reporting for himself, but what that would mean would be that the DPOs, which is the firms that are partnered with, the private organizations that are partnered with NDPC, will carry out a compliance on the company, a compliance check on the company. And if the company is found wanting in line with that not complying with that regulation, it doesn't matter that it was someone from the urban area that made that report. The company completely was going to be affected by whatsoever decision the NDPC will take.
Well, thank you very much, Hano Hamisu Jafaru. Thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Now, moving on, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the 2024 appropriation bill will be passed on Saturday, December 30th, 2023.
Official laying and passage of the budget will be slated for Saturday, 30th December 2023. In between, all other activities like harmonization and compilation and processing of the bill will take place.
Let's now see how commodities are trading around the world. let's head to currency market. The Nigerian naira further appreciated against the dollar on Tuesday, 19th December 2023, closing at 844 naira 85 kobo to a dollar at the official market. The domestic currency appreciated 5.15% to close at 888 naira 35 kobo to a dollar at the close of business on Tuesday. Data from the NAFEM, where Forex is officially traded, showed. Let's now see how much is the naira exchanging for other currencies. Well, that's it. Let's do this on Thursday again. My name is Musa Alvakar. Enjoy the rest of your day.